Next, let's do the same thing by looking at a schematic view of the spleen. And spleen being a highly vascular structure, spleen is a combination of a blood filtering organ. In other words, it's surveying all of the red blood cells, and in the red pulp, basically, it's removing old or defective ones. And intermingled among the area of the red pulp are regions of white pulp. The white pulp basically is the area where we find B and T cells and germinal centers. Note that the area of the white pulp is in the form of either a periarterial sheath containing mainly T cells that surround a central artery, and in the adjacent peripheral white pulp we may find germinal centers basically associated with a population of B cells. In a histologic section, we see a number of classic views of the spleen. Note that the spleen, unlike the lymph node and unlike the thymus, is not organized into distinct cortical and medullary regions. However, on the outside of the spleen at the arrow, we see a prominent connective tissue coat, and at the curved arrow, we see that the spleen is covered by a mesothelium. In the interior of the spleen, we see the distinction to be made between A is the area of the white pulp, and you can see the lighter staining germinal center that's immediately adjacent to it. The arrowhead marks the location of a central artery. So obviously around the central artery would be mainly a population of T cells, and in the immediately adjacent germinal center would obviously a B cell radiating center. The area indicated by B is red pulp, where basically the splenic sinusoids and the macrophages are viewing all of the red blood cells that are passing through the spleen in terms of age and structural integrity. The structure at C is simply a trabecula, which is part of the way the vasculature enters the interior of the spleen. And basically at a higher magnification view, we see the same thing. The arrow indicates the location of a central artery. Immediately surrounding it will be the peripheral white pulp containing mainly T cells, and the lighter staining circular profile adjacent to it is the germinal center.